Cool. So if we're trying to get some forecasting to kind of what keywords are being used in a particular type of a particular area, a way that we can do that is using the Google Keyword Planner tool. So I'm actually here in Google Ads, which not many of our SEO friends have really had a lot of experience in here. So there's a lot going on here that you can just kind of ignore. Frankly, you don't really need access over here to these things in the campaigns. What we just need over here is to come over here to tools and settings and then keyword planner. Now, this can be good because I'm looking for get search volume and forecasts. And so I'm going to do this as if, let's see, what client should we try to do this something of this nature for? Throwing out.
Big PT.
Okay, pick PT. Sounds good.
They're
So
coming.
pick PT in this hypothetical situation has decided that they want to open up a clinic in Rigby. Excuse me, in Pocatello. There we go. They already have one at Rigby right here, literally right there. So they just kind of want to get some forecasting there for kind of some of those keywords. Now, obviously, with the content that we're writing, we're always going to go like, physical therapy, Pocatello, right? We're always going to create content that goes after that because people do use that geo modifier is what that's called, that geographical modifier on their search term. People do search that way. So we absolutely want to be there. We also want to be there for Pocatello physical therapy, right? So those are kind of no-brainers. But so I'll leave that in there for the heck of it, but I'll also do like physical therapy, PT. Let's see here. Trying to think of anything else that I should put in there in regards to what they do. Vestibular rehabilitation for those people who happen to know what that word means, right? So okay, cool. I've got kind of some words in here that people could potentially be using. I'll go physical rehab and physical rehabilitation. Anyways, add in some of those in there. Go ahead and hit get started. Now, by default, it's going to go to the United States, right? So that's not particularly helpful for us for PickBT, right? Because they are this hypothetical situation, they're going to be in Pocatello, which I'm going to actually just name this. I'm going to go PT Pocatello. I'm just going to name that so that I know what this is in the future. And then, sorry, let me slow down here a little bit. I'm literally going to come over here and click on this thing that talks about this location. And I'm going to go Pocatello, Idaho. There we go. Make sure to remove the United States. And it looks like it's just kind of getting this area here. So I'm also going to add in, how do you spell Chevy? It's right there. No, seriously, this one right here. That's what I want. You don't believe me? Okay, I'm just go Bannock County. There we go. Looks like a pretty good area. I can maybe go into American Falls. That might not be a bad idea. If we wanted to, maybe I'd pull in Fort Hall. There's a lot of opportunity there. I'll just call that good for now. Hit save. Now it's going to give me a little bit of better forecasting based on the geography that we have selected here. So we can see here, physical therapy Pocatello, about 210 monthly searches is what it's saying. Physical therapy within the area, there's 170. So that's kind of interesting. There's actually more searches for physical therapy Pocatello than there is just physical therapy. So kind of interesting there. Vestibular rehabilitation. Google doesn't know what that word means. Just kidding. So they're all like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Physical rehab, physical rehabilitation. So there you go. We have a little bit of forecasting here where we didn't necessarily have anything from Ahrefs potentially. Maybe this gives us a little bit better insight here. I'm going to go ahead and add into here physical therapy near me. Go ahead and add that. Ooh. Select add group one. Just add that in there. Okay, looks like some people are using kind of the near me kind of things. So There we go. We have a little bit of data here to kind of give us a little bit more insight into how many people are searching within that. So based on this, even if it wasn't giving us great data here, for whatever reason in here, we can kind of say, okay, well, we still want to be adding a page in here to go after these keywords because there's traffic, at least for these, even these ones without a geographic modifier, there's traffic here. So we want to be there. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I've shown or gone through here? Okay, awesome. So through Google Ads, we could kind of go through and make this happen here. If we want to see kind of what a forecast of this would look like, if we were to run a Google ad campaign, it would look something like this. Okay, Mr. Client, we'd recommend probably about $500 a month or so, or something of that nature to try to go after these. So kind of interesting information there. Any other questions in regards to maybe some of the ways that we go about kind of looking into some of these markets, or how we can maybe understand a little bit more of what's going on with keyword wise in regards to these?
How often, like when you do the initial like sit down with the client thing, obviously we talk to them about like kind of what they're wanting to go after and what they think people are searching, but how often do you ever like, I know you talk to Appletastic fairly often about stuff, but like do you talk to other clients and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Or do you just kind of do it?
A lot of times it's pretty collaborative. Yeah, Appletastic is unique in the fact that they have so many keywords that they could go after, but like Benton and Benton, it's like, well, we kind of have the practice areas that we know that we're going after, and maybe we just need to enter into another market. But there's conversations pretty regularly with these clients about like, what markets do we want to go into? What keywords? Are there any services that you offer that we're overlooking? You know, like different things like that. So there's a lot of that kind of collaboration and back and forth. A lot of times that does happen through email, and they're terrible about CCing you, or they call me, or they text me, or different things like that. So there's a good amount of that happens. And I just try to say, hey, this is kind of what we're doing. This is kind of what we're seeing here. Does that look good on your end? Does that look like what you want to be doing?
Because like I just wonder if we're ever like pushing keywords like they don't necessarily want. Like if they're like, oh, we don't like to get a lot of clients for that necessarily. You know what I mean? Like even though it would be a good thing in a Google perspective, is it not something that they want to be doing?
Yeah.
That's my only concern, is if I'm ever like, but this is a great opportunity, but is that what their objective is?
Yeah. So a lot of times, yeah, I hope up front we're having a good conversation with them and just kind of understanding and literally asking those questions, you know, what services are you providing? You know, what do you think a client searches to be able to find that, you know? But don't ask the people at Cooper Norman because they have no idea. For those that weren't there at that conversation, it was super funny because you know, Blake Johnson, one of the head dudes there that I love, he's a great guy, was like, hey, what about some jargon thing? You know, do we have a page on our website to go after that? You know, and I was like, I don't know what that is, so I'm gonna say that's probably not how someone is going to search outside of this company. You know, like that's not how people search. You know, and he's like, oh, okay. You know, like I didn't even think that people wouldn't know this random jargon, you know. Anyways, that's because kind of what we have to do with a lot of our clients is understand what their services are, truly understand what their services are, and then think about like a normal person, how would they search for premises liability attorney? You know, would they ever use that term? No, they would absolutely not. Client accounting services, what is that? You know, yeah, in CAS is what they call it. Nobody knows what you're talking about. So any questions about that? Okay. Yeah, so have those conversations with your clients about what areas they serve, what services they offer, and you know, potentially just try to get a better understanding of what could fall into that. You know, for example, Benton and Benton, personal injury attorney, right? So car accidents. Well, what constitutes as a car accident? Well, pedestrians getting hit by cars, that counts. People getting hit on bicycles, that counts. Motorcycle accidents, that counts. Truck accidents, those count. Collisions with mail trucks, it's happened. I've had attorneys that I know who have done it. Yep, that counts. So all those things could be potential keywords that we go after while they say, oh, well, we do motor vehicle accidents. Okay, well, there's a lot that goes into that, right? So, okay, let's see. So I've got to hop off here not too terribly long. I was hoping to go over some different things, kind of carry on a little bit more about where we were last time, but I have to be going. I think, Jen, I think you have to be here soon as well, right? Okay, well, I'll save that for another week. But I did some keyword research for a potential client, and it was just not looking that great. There's just some keywords that I was like, oh, you know what? I just don't know if this is actually going to be the most successful strategy for them. So I actually poked around and found a different strategy that I think is going to be better, but it was honestly not using a whole lot of data to put together that strategy. But we'll talk about that potentially next week. But yeah, this is all I kind of have there for you. Do you have any questions? Okay. I'm always going to ask that. Always going to ask, what questions do you have? So, okay, cool. Well, if there's no other questions, let's go ahead and we'll cut this a little early today. And I'll look forward to chatting with a lot of you a little bit later.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good to see you there, Shaylee, Kendall, Krista, Katie, everybody. Sure appreciate you.